History is being rewritten at this very moment. The Vatican has officially entered a new era, a new pope. Pope Louis I has ascended to the throne, marking the beginning of a new chapter for the Catholic Church. This is not just a religious event, it's a defining moment that could shape the future of millions of believers around the world. Who is he? Why was he chosen? And what lies ahead for the Church under his leadership? What do people think about the new Pope, Pope Louis I? Do you believe he will bring positive change to the Catholic Church? If yes, comment with a 1. If not, leave a 0 below. Enjoy the video and don't forget to subscribe to support the channel and not miss the next breaking news from the Vatican and the world. The world paused and stared. From cozy living rooms to bustling public squares, people everywhere, regardless of who they were, felt the same electric surge of excitement. It was as if time itself had stopped drawing everyone into this shared moment. This wasn't just news. It was a turning point, the kind of event that grandparents would one day recount to wide-eyed children. Families huddled around their TVs, elders whispered quiet prayers, and children, their curious eyes wide with wonder, sensed that something monumental was unfolding. All eyes turned to the Vatican, where millions gathered in hushed hope and silent prayer at St. Peter's Square. People stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces glowing in the light of candles and the anticipation in their hearts. From humble chapels to bustling cities, even those without faith could feel the powerful sense of unity. Everyone was waiting, holding their breath for a small sign that would mark the beginning of an entirely new chapter. And then it happened. White smoke rose from the chimney above the Sistine Chapel, and as it has for centuries, that smoke carried a profound meaning. A new leader had been chosen. The white smoke, delicate yet powerful, swept away all doubt and ignited a wave of hope. It spiraled into the Roman sky like a brilliant signal of change visible to all. The crowd gasped, some wept, others clutched hands and beamed with joy, overcome by a mix of awe and relief. Something miraculous had just begun. The world exhaled, as if it had been holding its breath for days, and that white smoke was more than just a sign. It was a spark, a promise that something new and full of hope was on its way. Inside the Sistine Chapel, ancient traditions quietly unfolded, culminating in a decision that would ripple through the Catholic Church and touch billions of lives. The cardinals, clad in vibrant red robes, emerged with solemn expressions, bearing the weight of history on their shoulders. Around the world, people waited in breathless anticipation for the name to be announced from the Vatican balcony. From grand cathedrals to humble homes, people leaned closer to their screens and radios, eager to hear who would become their new spiritual leader. As the name was announced, the crowd erupted in thunderous cheers, a tidal wave of joy crashing through St. Peter's Square. Across the globe, from Rome to Manila, Buenos Aires to Nairobi, the world felt like one big family united in celebration. Flags waved, high voices shouted in every language. There were no borders, no divisions. The news rippled through cities and quiet villages alike, a testament to the Church's far-reaching influence and humanity's enduring hunger for hope. In that moment, everyone, Catholic or not, could feel the gravity and beauty of what had just occurred. As the new pope stepped onto the balcony, the crowd stood in awe, silent for a heartbeat, then overcome with emotion. This was a defining moment, a hopeful new beginning. Church bells rang out, echoing from the ancient streets of Rome to the distant shores of the Philippines, where millions shared in the outpouring of joy that filled St. Peter's Square. Pilgrims embraced and wept, and strangers became family in the magic of that singular moment. In the Philippines, the entire nation erupted with pride. Fireworks lit up the sky and church bells rang in unison as Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Archbishop of Manila, was announced as Pope Luis I, the first Filipino and Asian pope in history. Over the course of 3 intense days, the cardinals faced a monumental decision at a time when the future of the Catholic Church hung in the balance. Inside the Sistine Chapel, they whispered of faith and leadership, fully aware of the world's hopes resting on their shoulders. Whispers began to spread stories of Tagle, a name now synonymous with kindness, compassion for the poor, and the gentle warmth reminiscent of Pope Francis. By the 3rd day, the cardinals had made their choice, and Cardinal Tagle had secured the necessary votes. The world seemed to hold its breath. Millions across every corner of the planet turned their eyes toward St. Peter's Basilica, waiting for the historic moment. In St. Peter's Square, people stood shoulder to shoulder, clutching rosaries, waving flags, and sharing stories from faraway lands, all united by a single emotion: hope. If you believe in a brighter future under his guidance, leave a heart emoji in the comments. And don't forget, like the video if you found the content meaningful. Subscribe to the channel to follow along with stories of humanity and memorable historical moments. Share the video if you believe this message of love needs to be spread. And then, the balcony doors opened. The crimson curtains drew back, revealing a sight the world would never forget. Pope Louis I stood there, clad in a simple white robe, radiant against the majestic backdrop of St. Peter's Basilica. The towering columns and gilded details seemed to fade into the background as every eye fixed on this humble man. His smile was warm, his eyes shining with kindness and grace, a perfect blend of strength and gentleness. A new beginning had arrived, one that honored the past while embracing the hope of a renewed future. In that moment, Pope Louis IV seemed to connect with every single person, those cheering below in St. Peter's Square, and the millions watching from afar. His gentle smile and compassionate gaze sparked a wave of emotion. Many wept, others simply stood in stunned silence, immersed in the gravity of the moment. His eyes radiated care and hope, as if he truly saw each soul before him. And when he offered his first blessing, his soft voice rang out in ancient Latin, wrapping around the crowd like a warm embrace. The Pope was not merely continuing tradition, he was sending a powerful call for peace and unity. He spoke of togetherness, of love, and of following in the footsteps of Pope Francis, urging everyone to lift up those in need, to build bridges instead of walls, and to embrace the rich diversity of the Church's global family. He declared tradition is not just something old, it is alive and grows with every heart that welcomes it. And then something extraordinary happened. The papal staff, traditionally crowned with a crucifix, now bore a small carved image of Santo Niño, the Holy Child, an honored symbol of Filipino faith. It was a subtle yet profound gesture, one that celebrated the Pope's heritage and signaled the Church's readiness to embrace its global family in a new, more inclusive way. Ancient traditions blended with fresh roots, and the world witnessed the faith of Asia shining brightly. A new era for the Church had begun, one rooted in reverence for the past and filled with anticipation for what lies ahead. As the sun rose, a wave of hope spread from bustling cities to the quiet villages of Asia. From the lively streets of Manila, where the news raced from mouth, to the serene temples of Thailand, where monks offered prayers for peace and unity, this moment stirred something deep within the hearts of millions across the continent. In churches and homes alike, a warm light of pride and joy radiated. Families gathered, some with tears, others with laughter or song. Everyone became part of the celebration, as if invisible threads of faith and hope were weaving Asia into a new radiant tapestry. Rainbow lights streamed through stained glass windows, dancing across the pews. The sweet scent of flowers mingled with candle smoke, and from ornate altar decorations to humble offerings of fruit and rice, every detail radiated deep love and joy. Familiar places suddenly felt new, alive, with endless possibilities. Prayers of thanksgiving rose in countless tongues, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Mandarin, Tamil, blending into a joyful chorus that transcended borders and cultures. Voices united in gratitude for their differences, weaving together a beautiful hymn of faith. The election of an Asian pope was more than a beautiful moment. It carried profound meaning. It sent a message to millions that their struggles of faith and their place in the global church truly mattered. It was long overdue recognition of their vital role in the Catholic world. The joy wasn't just for one nation, but for an entire region that had often felt overlooked. Crowds filled grand cathedrals and village squares, their faces glowing with hope. They cheered, wept, embraced, soaking in the warm embrace of this miraculous moment. The celebration of faith was growing vibrant and alive, fueled by Asia's spirited heart that had quietly shone for years. Young people sang with newfound energy, while elders shared stories of strength and unity. Excitement spread like wildfire, racing from bustling cities to tranquil villages. From children to grandparents, from every language, culture, and tradition, people came together to create a moment more powerful and beautiful than ever before. Joyful songs and triumphant cheers echoed everywhere, from streets to churches, from vast metropolises to the most remote corners. Pope Louis XIV was not just a leader who honored the past. He became a beacon of new hope for the world. His words on unity, love, and dialogue with the poor and the forgotten touched the hearts of millions. He stood as a symbol of change, a leader who understood the challenges of today and chose compassion as his path. His call did more than reshape the church. It inspired a world in transition, reminding humanity that even in uncertainty, grace and empathy can lead the way. The election of Pope Louis XIII marked a monumental shift for the Catholic Church, one not seen in centuries. By turning its gaze toward Asia, Africa, and Latin America, the Church was no longer a solely European empire, but a truly global family. This moment proved that faith still matters in a world changing at breathtaking speed. Pope Louis XIII emerged as the perfect leader for a new chapter, one grounded in hope and justice. As he delivered his first blessing, a wave of hope swept through the air, signaling a new beginning for all of humanity. Under the guidance of Pope Louis I, 1.3 billion Catholics have witnessed a significant shift in the long narrative of the Catholic Church. His leadership marks the beginning of a new chapter filled with challenges and exciting possibilities. The Church will no longer be on the sidelines, but will stand at the center, continuing to spread hope and faith. The world watches with anticipation, ready to see what unfolds from this new start. Don't miss out. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring videos and compelling stories.